Is Gen Z getting financially screwed by the system? Let's talk about the facts. First, why are we talking about this? Well, it was this tweet here. This is from Unusual Whales. Gen Z workers are putting away 20% of their annual salary into their 401k or a similar plan per Forbes. This caught my eye because it seemed really weird. Being able to put away 20% of your annual salary, particularly when you're just starting out, is very difficult to do. That's a good chunk of change. When people get older and they get promotions and move up in the workforce, hitting 20% is potentially doable. It's also what most financial professionals recommend. So I started digging into it. Here's the other side of the story I found out. Nearly 1 in 3 Gen Z workers are not actively saving for retirement, and it could be a $500,000 mistake. It is true that if you're not saving early, you're not taking advantage of the time value of money, letting it compound over and over and over. That can cost a lot of money, but that first part really caught my eye. A lot of Gen Z workers are not actively saving for retirement. And that really goes against this whole 20% idea. This sounds like everything is going great for Gen Z. This is more similar to the story I expected. I expected doom and gloom. Let's add in a little bit more doom and gloom, shall we? BlackRock recently put out the 2022 BlackRock Read on Retirement, which had a bunch of interesting statistics about Gen Z and where they're at right now. For example, they estimate Gen Z's average saving rate at 14%, which is similar to other generations. This is not the happy-go-lucky, everything's going well for Gen Z 20%. Additionally, we see that Gen Z, despite having 14%, which is not the 20% which most financial professionals recommend, Gen Z is actually aiming to retire earlier than the boomers. Gen Z wants to retire, on average, between 63 and 64. 36% of Gen Z say they would need an amount under $250,000 saved for a comfortable retirement. If we compare that to where the boomers are at right now, the boomers are expecting to save between 1 and 3 million. It's also important to note that 1 to 3 million will not be typically enough for Gen Z either, simply because inflation is going to make 1.3 million in 50 years or 40 years worth a lot less than 1.3 million right now. Gen Z is not setting expectations properly. Now, note, guys, quick thing to say, I don't blame Gen Z for that. We do not talk about personal finance enough in the United States. It is the taboo topic. You're supposed to just assume everything is going to go well and then find out everything is not well. Let's go back to that bank rate survey. When asked if people feel financially behind, 30% of Gen Z share that feeling. But over 70% of baby boomers feel left behind, meaning that as you're aging, you're increasingly becoming aware that you are actually screwed financially, and your idea that you were fine was completely naive. Truth be told, the older you get, the more you realize you're financially screwed. Gen Z does not seem different from prior generations. They just simply are younger. So to summarize where Gen Z is at right now, I think they're in a lot of trouble. I think the Forbes 20% is an exaggeration. When it comes to the finances for Gen Z, they seem normal. They seem just like every other generation. Many of them aren't able to save at all. The ones who are able to save are doing okay, but the savings rate of 14%, it's not great. It's not great. We really want to get up to 20%, but they're early in their careers. They seem to think everything is going to be fine though, with 36% of them believing that they need less than $250K tucked away to retire comfortably. Truth be told, Gen Z is lacking in personal finance knowledge, and I expect within 30, 40 years that Gen Z will be just like the baby boomers, with the overwhelming majority of baby boomers believing that they are left behind. It's really important to be aware of this problem so you don't end up being like the baby boomer generation, a generation of people who are retiring without really having the money to retire comfortably.